You know, whenever you experience feelings, again, that are unhealthy for you, it's vital that you perform a self assessment and audit yourself as to why you're feeling those feelings. Are there any identifiable trigger warnings? What could have been done about it? Could you foresee something happening? Again, what can you do to prevent such feelings and emotions from ever occurring again if possible? Such as, number 1, self-awareness and acceptance. Recognize your emotions. Catch yourself and pay close attention to the emotions you're feeling and why you're feeling them. What do you think is the root cause of you having these emotions? Can you solve the issue yourself? Do you need help? Should you do a little research? Go online? Find out, research what's bothering you? Seek and you shall find. Remember, it's a proverb. That means if you are actively looking for something, you are most likely going to find it. The saying encourages us to keep trying and to make an effort to achieve our goals and resolve our issues instead of letting them grow inside and manifest. I like to research a lot, and thank goodness for the internet. You got a problem? Feeling uptight about something? Research how other people dealt with it. How did you deal with this? What did you do? What was your experience? Oh, wow. Oh, mine's not that bad. Whoa. So you can get a perspective on things when you can kind of find out what other people are doing, what they've gone through, and etc. Accept your feelings. Instead of suppressing or judging such emotions, acknowledge and accept them. Even if they're negative, and it feels uncomfortable to do so. We can still work on what it is that needs working on. Even though I'm just going to accept the fact that I'm pissed right now. I am really pissed. But I know, Bart said, wait 24 hours, let things calm down, let time be on my side and work in my favor. Identify triggers. Be aware of situations, thoughts, or people that tend to trigger strong emotional reactions. What did you do last time you felt such triggers coming on? Nothing? Did you attempt to do something? Anything? To stop what normally came after you began feeling negatively about something? As time goes on, are you getting better at it? For example, controlling your rage, not getting angry so hard or so fast or so often. How have you improved based on you catching the warning signs of something negative coming on? Oh, I remember the last time I responded negatively. Boy, I felt bad for a whole week, Here it comes again. Okay, I'm going to handle it differently this time. Whoa, wow. I handled it better. Number 2, mindfulness and relaxation activities. Take a deep breath and don't do anything just yet. The breath is important. Got to breathe. But don't do anything just yet. Relax. Give what it is you're feeling time to pass. And practice any number of slow, deep breaths to calm you down and to help reduce any stress you, or both of you, might be feeling. Usually, 24 hours is all we really need to kind of let arguments get buried a little bit with time, or the heat between folks to simmer down just a little, so you can talk things out rationally and hopefully with a positive resolution. One rule with arguing is, with somebody else, you can say, hey, look, we're both at each other. We want to jump, But the rule is we must always keep our composure, keep our voices down, talk in slow, controlled statements, just so that we can talk things out. And with that practice, over time, you get really good at it. Practice makes perfect. Here's another one. Mindful consideration of others. As in, think about the impact you will have on others if you start up or go through with past or previous negative experiences and behaviors. You don't want to see someone cry again, do you? You don't want another bill, do you? You don't want to be arrested again, do you? Yes, think of yourself, of course, but think about how others will perceive you again and again if you keep up this type of negative behavior. Replace rage with intellectual conversations and positive outcomes, no matter how long they take to occur. Bite your tongue, which can hurt, ow, or heal someone with the spoken word. I remember a friend telling me about a time when his son-in-law yelled at his wife in front of their friends in a car when traveling. The wife was so embarrassed, and their guests nervous with fear as to what her husband might do. Boy, did he snap. Then again, it takes seconds for him to make a lifelong, lasting impression on 3 people, his wife and 2 friends. Couldn't he have waited to talk to his wife privately? Couldn't he have bit his tongue, no matter how enraged he was, so as to not transfer that negative energy to 3 other people for a lifetime? Think before you speak. Others are listening, and they will remember what you said and how you said it. So be considerate of others. Be mindful and considerate. Journaling. Writing in and of itself can be very therapeutic. Whether you write things down by hand or in the computer or in the phone, writing down what you feel before, during, and after you experience what it is that you experience can really help you, number 1, get it out of you, what's in you that needs to get out, to be said or something, Get it out of you. Write it down. Number 2, assess and review your own words and what seems to bother you. What can you do about it? How often do these feelings and emotions occur? Number 3, can you make progress on your own to where you no longer experience such negative emotions? Number 4, do you see progress with every moment you catch yourself before exploding, yelling, or whatever? Write down your victories. See the better you emerging with every episode. And number 5, soon, you will be a new and better person, having gone through your own self-help and personal development cycles of learning, observing, practicing, and preventing the lion in you from coming out. And instead, it's just that sweet little kitten everyone adores. So journaling, in fact, just even myself, there's times when I really wanted to go at somebody with the spoken word, maybe a phone call or a text or whatever. And so what I did was I wrote it out. I wrote my feelings out. I wrote, hey, you really just, whatever. We're all emotional folk. And then when I was done, I was happy with it. Yeah, I'm going to send this. Oh, hit the delete key instead. So instead of hitting the send key, I'll hit the delete key. And I feel as if I sent it, but I didn't, because I was considering the other people, the other person, keeping in mind other people, considerations. And I don't really want to leave that impression on them about me, even though that's the way I'm feeling. I'll just write it out and, store it, save it, draft, whatever. You get the idea. Number 3, cognitive strategies when it comes to controlling your emotions. Challenge your negative thoughts. When you notice negative or irrational thoughts coming up and coming on, rise up, challenge them, and question their own validity. Then try to reframe them in a more positive direction, knowing nothing positive can come from those negative emotions. So challenge your negative thoughts like, gosh, yeah, I really would. But, maybe I should take the higher road. And, I tell you what, I won't do that. I won't say that. I won't say what I want to say. I'll just, like Bart said, I'm going to go get busy. Yeah, I'm going to get busy. And I'm going to, I don't have time for this nonsense or whatever it is. That's got you riled up. Ooh. Engage in positive self-talk. Lift yourself up constantly with positive words instead of talking down and negatively about yourself and others. You have a choice. You can either avoid the harsh self-criticism, which gets you nowhere, or engage in what I call constructive suggestion and helpful talk that improves one's situation, status, or relationship instead of tearing it down. What's the old proverb say? A wise woman builds her house, but a foolish one tears it down with her own hands. Now, this verse uses the imagery of a house to represent a person's life and choices. A wise woman, in the proverb, or man, makes good choices and builds a fulfilling life, while a foolish person makes poor choices that lead to destruction, self-destruction. Translation, the words you choose can either build you up or tear you down. Which do you choose? As for me, Mr. Old Bart Smith here, I'm positive 25-8-366. Yeah, I added a couple extra times and days and hours in there because I have enough positivity flowing through me to share with you. Here, bring me your cup. I just poured you some of my energy and my positivity. We don't have time to be depressed. We're too busy rocking and rolling with our life. Being good to ourselves and being good to others, and when they don't like it or they feel threatened, hey, you know what? Not my problem. I'm not paid to be your therapist. Move along. Nicely, please move along. Distance yourself. Is it raining outside? Well, get inside. Is it cold where you're at? Get in where it's warm. If you're arguing with someone or something's got you bothered, remove yourself from that environment so you can relax, rest, and reflect on what it is that you were going through that didn't bring about such positive emotions. Creating some distance from upsetting situations or thoughts can definitely help you respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. Distances can also include time. Let some time pass before responding to someone's phone call, email, message, or text. Let time wash away all the negativity like dirt and leaves down a flowing river. In 24 to 48 hours, you'll be better able to respond with clarity and hopefully softer words and perhaps maybe fewer words in hopes of a more positive resolution. Number 4, relationship and social support when it comes to controlling your emotions. Yes, we do want to build and maintain healthy relationships. That's a given. Surrounding ourselves with folks who can help us maintain a positive environment is always helpful. This is done by setting and enforcing boundaries, leading by example, being clear as to what you will and won't tolerate, treating others with the utmost kindness and support and never a negative word or comment. And when you don't get that in return, or you experience lesser treatment, those folks get warnings and then the axe. Yeah, as in put on the chopping block. You have to treat your life, your heart, your mind, and your soul like your own castle. If you have rules for folks to take their shoes off once they enter the house, those are your rules. If folks don't honor and respect your house rules, your heart, your mind, your soul, they can exit stage left and don't let the door hit you on the way out. Likewise, you will always show respect and kindness towards others. You'll speak kindly of others and never engage in gossip or talk about people behind their backs. Don't you go about creating ill feelings with others. Because when you don't, they kind of have a hard time creating ill feelings about you or openly in your presence without them getting the drift that you don't condone such activities and conversations. You keep a clean house, a clean mind, and a clean and happy environment that's stress-free and flowing with peace of mind. Right? Of course. Because when you lead by example and you don't engage in that kind of gossip and speaking negatively, when the other people do, you can easily point it out to them to say, hey, do you notice I don't do that to you? I don't say those things to you. I don't appreciate you saying those things to me. So that's my warning. Don't do it. Don't say it. Be kind and nice. Be sweet. If you can't, our relationship is over. I don't care who you are. Over 18, I get to choose who I want as my friend. Blood doesn't matter, and you can't rely on that. Like, oh, we're family, so, you'll never get rid of me. No, I will show you the door and then give you the silent treatment and never talk to you again. I could block you just like anybody else. So please, I'd like to keep a positive environment. If you've got issues, I ain't paid to be your therapist. Okay. A lot of problems out there. Compartmentalization. Learn to separate yourself from negative emotions when they come over you and don't entertain them or engage with them when you feel like you would like to. We all have moments of feeling upset, disappointed, or depressed to some degree. Well, don't let it get the best of you. Say to yourself, hey, I know I'm feeling a certain way right now that I'm not happy about. But I tell you what, Bart said to take the high road, to stay strong, to stay positive. Time will blow this over in 24, 48 hours or so, and that I shouldn't act on my feelings to yell, scream, or whatever, or, self-harm. That might cause someone else to be hurt emotionally, physically, friendship-wise, etc. And I agree. I'm going to do what Bart says, and I'm going to side with Bart on this. Thanks, Bart, man. I'm going to be cool, calm, and collected. I'm going to keep my composure, and I'm going to compartmentalize this emotion. In fact, I'm just going to put it in a shoebox and stick it under the bed. There's compartmentalizing it for you. Here, it's quarantined. Now, get away from me. I want to get back to being happy. Yeah. All right, here's another one. And this one's a doozy. So again, this is about controlling your emotions, and maybe sometimes we got to seek help, If you're struggling to control, negative emotions or other emotions, consider reaching out to someone who can help you. Now, typically, your best bet is someone either far older than you, who has some life experience, who could say, let me tell you how this is supposed to go. This is how you're supposed to do it, Or someone who's walked in your shoes, someone who's experienced what it is that you're going through. These are two different kinds of people that probably are in your circle of friends or family that you can go to say, hey, I got a problem with this. Have you dealt with this before? How did you handle it? Okay. Now, don't always think running to a therapist or getting on psych medication is going to help you. I've talked to therapists who couldn't help each other when they were in trouble. Yeah, let's see. Therapists can't help other therapists. I've spoken to people who were on psych meds who got off them after we spoke because of how much information I shared with them about their situation, what they could do to help their situation, how best to see their situation. I shared perspectives, points of view that they never thought of, and more. All of which was shared with them because I have a lot of experience, or at least perspectives that can kind of address certain situations. I'm not a woman, I'm not pregnant, and I'm not a single mom, or I'm not this or that or this or that, but my approaches can be applied to almost anyone. And that's the interesting aspect. All of which, like I said, was shared with them because, I've got experience, I've got information, I've got knowledge to help them. I gave them moments of coaching, consulting, technical references, business advice, health advice, relationship advice, financial advice, you name it. Talking to someone, like a therapist, who is just going, and listen to this part. Oh, you already are. Talking to someone like a therapist who is just going to listen to you without giving you sound and actionable advice is like throwing money away. How do I know this to be true? Because eventually, everyone's problem is finally resolved because of some kind of action they take to get their own selves out of the rut they're in. It may take time. It may take the therapist 100 times saying, is that what you're saying? Is that what you think is best? All right, great. Well, let's schedule you for another session next week, and let me make sure your meds are renewed so I get my residual income commission. I'm joking to make my point, but go read the book Destructive Trends in Mental Health, The Well-Intentioned Path to Harm, sold on Amazon. That book alone will open up your eyes to how messed up the entire mental health industry has become for those truly seeking help, when in reality, all these people really need is just somebody older than them or experienced that might be able to help guide them into and perhaps out of the situation they're in and into a better, healthier, and prosperous life ahead, filled with hope, actionable tasks, and strategies to keep them up at night because they're so excited that they can't sleep with this new lease on life. Oh, like me, for the past 35 plus years, I've had so many friends and clients tell me, Bart, I can't sleep. I'm so excited to act on the advice and the ideas you gave me. That phone call we had the other day, oh my gosh, my hand is sore from writing notes from all the ideas I got from you. I was a mess and just didn't know which direction to take. But with your advice, clarity, and resources, I am off to the races, and I can't wait to cross that finish line. Besides, I never knew a therapist that didn't need one. So personally, I avoid them like the plague. But listen, I don't want to put down or make it seem like I'm against therapy if your situation of negative emotions is extremely traumatic. We're talking childhood situations, abuse situations. There's some stuff that, hey, you do need to talk it out over time. Absolutely. And you do need to talk to somebody, they need to be paid, But the point is how much can you self-regulate and say, okay, I'm not the first person that's gone through this. What have other people done before me that helped them get through what it is that they are going through, that you're going through? Go online, look it up. I wrote a book called 281 Regrets that people have in relationships, dating, sex, marriage. 280 individual people with 280 individual circumstances that I didn't have to live through. But by reading 280 individual circumstances of what other human beings have gone through, I would say that makes me a little smarter, a little wiser going into a relationship. I'm going to make sure I don't do that. I don't do that. I don't do that. I'm going to make sure I do this. I'm going to make sure that she doesn't do this and this and that. And you wouldn't go to your job with an empty head of no knowledge. Say, hi, hire me. I'm ready to do the job. Well, have you been trained? Well, no, but that doesn't matter. I'm just here to do it. I've got a great attitude. No, you need skills. And with those skills, you give to the company, you get paid. They like your work, you put in good time. You learn more, you become more valuable. It's the same thing with relationships. The more you understand yourself and others and how you can treat yourself and others. Anyhow, when it comes to controlling your emotions, we do have the ability to control our emotions. In the next section, in the next audio, it's one of my favorite, but might be yours too. What would Bart say or do? That's what's up next. Yeah. What would I say or do if I were in your situation? Because that's usually what happens. People come to me and they're like, Bart, what would you say if you were in my shoes? Or what would you do if you were in my shoes? Here's my situation. And I'd say, well, I wouldn't do that. I would do this. I would do this. And I would say this. And then I would shut up. And I would let the other person react. I'd give them time. If it took them a day, I don't care. But blah, 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 blah. So let's get into it. Come on, let's check it out.